In the ring as a pro here at Bethnal Green, Minter wearing the dark shorts, boxing southpaw, against Pat Brogan of Crewe, who's an older man, little more experienced, but not presumably in Minter's class. Minter, winner of all his 6 professional fights so far, and only one of them has gone the distance. That was the one he had last against Pat Dwyer, a much more experienced man, who Minter really handled very well indeed, considering his relative inexperience. Those heads rubbing and cracking together already in this first round. Harry Gibbs separating them. And in fact, that's trouble for Minter, because now he's got a cut over his right eye. Minter's right eye cut, and that clearly was done when they came together with that little collision there in the first round. And Brogan still being very awkward and difficult with his head. Well, they've done some patchwork on Minter's eye, and it's not giving him a lot of trouble now, but clearly he's got to try to keep it away from Brogan's head. Brogan from Crewe, going back, proving a difficult and elusive target. Harry Gibbs having a little bit of struggle, prizing these two apart. Watch your head. That's Harry Gibbs talking to Brogan, not before time. And the fans from Crawley and Sussex, where Minter comes from, once again out in force here at York Hall in Bethnal Green. Looking very much as though Minter's going to have his problems here against this rather awkward opponent. Minter, who won a bronze medal in the Munich Olympics. Let's see who works, says Harry Gibbs, and it's Brogan really who's responsible for all this mauling and clutching inside. Doing it again. End of the second round. Well, Brogan is being really awkward here, and I suppose he's come to try to keep out of trouble, but if he goes on like this, it's not going to be a particularly good fight for Minter. He's got his problems.
Round 3.
I should think southpaw Minter will be looking for the chance to land a big one here. Try and get rid of this awkward man. There's a fair old left for a start. He could do with putting this man away, because he's proving to be a rather nasty sort of opponent. Harry Gibbs making it very plain to everybody. Watch your head to Brogan and watch your elbow to Minter. Well, this is a 3-man fight, because Harry Gibbs is doing as much work as the 2 boxers. This crowd setting up the boom boom chant. This is Minter, of course, known as Alan Boom Boom Minter, partly from the right-left combination and partly from the noise he makes when he throws the punches. You could certainly do with some boom boom at this point. Minter had him in trouble there at the end of the 3rd round. That bell probably saved Brogan from a lot more trouble.
Seconds out. Round 4.
Looks to me very much as though Pat Brogan from Crewe in the light pants has come to stay if he can. He wants to go the distance. In fact, Brogan's never been stopped in 16 professional fights. Gibbs is proving to be pretty patient with Brogan. He's a bit of a disciplinarian, Harry, but he's quite tolerant with Brogan, who's done all this sort of holding and clutching and mauling all the way through. Well, that's the riot act being read by Harry Gibbs to Brogan. The head, principally. He could just as easily, I suppose, warn him about the holding. He's done plenty of that as well. Well, this is a very frustrating fight indeed for Minter. He's never had a more difficult job since he turned pro. We're in the 5th round now, and Brogan's still adopting the same tactics, always moving in close and claiming Minter and trying to prevent him doing his best work. Well, Minter's got this sort of problem to solve as he goes on being a pro, so he might as well find out about it now as later. Shoulder. So one way and another, this is turning out to be a rough old do between these two, Minter and Brogan. The Crawley fans wanting Minter to bring it to a conclusion, I expect Minter does too. And Brogan doing his best, or doing his worst, I suppose one should say, to stop Minter doing his good work. Yes, well, Harry Gibbs having a real word there with Minter because of those 2 or 3 punches he threw just after the bell. So trouble on both sides for these two. Brogan still standing there. Round 7 scheduled 8 rounder. And the question now is, can Minter stop him? Or is Brogan going to hold on, and I mean hold on, right to the bitter end? This is a much harder job for Minter than he had with Pat Dwyer, very much more experienced man than Brogan. But Dwyer was relatively easy to hit, and Brogan, of course, isn't. Well, this is the real talking to now from Gibbs to Brogan. Brogan now doing nothing at all. Previously he was doing all the holding, now he's doing very little. And one way and the other, Mr. Gibbs is not happy. Very good punch from Minter, and that's about the best one that Minter's thrown, and Gibbs has stopped it. He's stopped it. Very tolerant, Mr. Gibbs, but he's decided, I think, it's all too one-sided, and that last left hand from Minter, who's doing all the work, brings it to a conclusion, and a timely conclusion. Not a good fight. Minter wouldn't have enjoyed it. Brogan came to stay and didn't manage it, so Minter gets his 7th successive professional win.